Today, we'll learn of different sunken land masses in the known world and focus on the continent of Mu and all the relics, structures, and conspiracies involved. A one-stop shop to learn everything Mu. To start things off in the submerged or sunken landmass category, we have half of the famed continent of Mu, which is today's main topic. Here we have the Isle of Demons between Labrador and Newfoundland in Canada. This is one of the possible locations for Atlantis in the Azores. It has mostly sunk beneath the waves, with only the high mountaintops still visible above sea level, exactly like the remnants of the continent of Mu. Above it, we have Friesland, which appears on the Hyperborean map of Gerardus Mercator from 1595 and others. This will be covered in a full dedicated episode in the near future. Here is High Brazil and Doggerland on either side of the United Kingdom. Down here we have another huge sunken landmass known as Lemuria. And up here we have Sanikov land in the Russian Arctic. Down here we have Sandy Island and Zealandia, and of course the second half of the famed continent of Mu. In some cases, cartographers intentionally included fabricated geographic locations on their maps as a way to catch plagiarists. See if you can spot the non-existent mystery island on my map, which could become your map. Prints and posters will be available for purchase in the near future. The continent of Mu. Giants, megaliths, UFOs, pyramids, anomalies, portals, and more recently, radioactive sites. The beginning of time when living beings first started living on our planet's surface was 450,000 years ago with the arrival of the Anunnaki. The oldest recorded history is from the Kish tablet from the Sumerians from 5,500 years ago, which doesn't make much sense considering that Göbekli Tepe was completely covered 13,000 years ago before the arrival of a cluster of comet shards that smashed into our planet. But that's a story for another time. Our story starts somewhere in the middle with the Toba supervolcano located in Indonesia, not unlike the Yellowstone supervolcano located in Wyoming that poses an existential risk not only to the US but to the entire world. Erupted 74,000 years ago in present-day Indonesia, leaving only 3,000 to 10,000 humans left on the planet's surface. The inner Earth dwellers were surely unaffected, minus closing the air shafts as they do now due to our polluted atmosphere. Now that the world has been reset, begins the Age of Mu. Mu was one of the largest, most spiritual, knowledgeable, and technologically advanced empires in the world. They even founded Atlantis, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Mu flourished for tens of thousands of years. One government, one spirituality, 10 tribes equaling 64 million people on a large continent with 7 major cities, with one of the cities being Naacals that I covered in the last episode. Just like the European Age of Discovery, the Mu people, also known as the Nacaals, expanded outwards, exploring the world beyond their continent, establishing satellite settlements that developed into their own empires, leading to a global civilization. The explorer colonizers would later be recognized as the Olmecs in Mesoamerica, the Naacal Brotherhood in Lemuria and India, the Chavin de Hontar and Norte Chico pre-Inca cultures from Peru, the Amazonians in Brazil and Bolivia, the Maui of Easter Island and New Zealand, and even the Japanese from Japan. To this day, the Japanese see themselves as descendants from the gods. The Naacals also had a significant impact on the ancient Egyptians, ancient Greeks, and the North American coast, sharing wisdom, knowledge, spiritual beliefs, megalith building techniques, i.e. pyramids, and more. In Egypt, the sun god, supreme solar deity ruling over sky, earth, and the underworld, is of course Ra, which is also the name of the leader of the Naacals on the continent of Mu. Coincidence? I think not. The time has come for the end of the world. It's not really the end, more like a new beginning, because now is the time for the pole shift. According to NASA, the Earth's magnetic field has flipped its polarity several times over the millennia. They assure us that it happens over hundreds or thousands of years, but can we really trust NASA? On the other side of the coin, there's the Earth crust displacement theory, i.e. pole shift. That's when the Earth's crust undergoes rapid and dramatic shifts. The Earth's crust, including continents and ocean floors, move as a single unit, resulting in changes in the geographic and magnetic poles. The North and South poles move to new locations on the planet. On the seventh day, everything reverts back to its original position. The mechanism for these rapid shifts can be triggered by massive earthquakes or celestial objects like asteroids. Just like how the Younger Dryas period started. More on that later. For now, just know that the earth convulsed in the thunderous tumult of volcanic fury, spewing forth its fiery wrath. Veils of ash and smoke enshrouded the sun, casting an ominous pall over a land teetering on the precipice of its own demise. The ground trembled as coastal waves, monstrous and unrelenting, surged with a voracious hunger, invading the land once adorned by a thriving civilization, now condemned to oblivion. Amidst the unrelenting devastation, a glimmer of survival held on. Some, fueled by desperation, dared to ascend mountains, a feeble attempt to escape the pandemonium swallowing the world. A futile defiance against nature's unwavering wrath. Others sought refuge on boats and vimanas. Many perished, while few endured aimless wanderings. Some spiritual leaders were blessed with premonitions, urgently directing them to flee the impending catastrophe. Many of whom ended up in an entirely different ocean, where a new landmass had arisen. Just like the explorers of old, the Olmecs, the Maui, and the Mount Shasta colonizers had brought with them everything needed to start their new empires. From there on out, the pole shift survivors would be known as the Atlanteans. Fortunately, not all of Mu had sunk beneath the waves. The giant landmass had broken up into a large-scale archipelago born from the chaos of seismic cataclysms. Haunted by the memory of their shattered homeland, many from the broken continent seek refuge across the world. They scatter to satellite settlements from the mystical realms of Mesoamerica to the soils of Peru. The lands of Lemuria call to their souls, offering a chance for spiritual renewal. Some ended up in Japan, the Amazon, Alaska, California, and even Antarctica. A contingent of Naacals made their way to Egypt, utterly distinct from the desert expanse of modern-day Egypt. With verdant greenery, lush forests, and meandering rivers that weave through the landscape. Here, the construction of the pyramid is underway, guided by pre-existing Naacal knowledge. Using advanced flying technology, the Naacals become the architects and builders of these colossal structures. The pyramids serve not only as architectural marvels, but as powerful energy stations. Harnessed from the earth, the atmosphere, and the cosmos. But I'll go more into this on the upcoming on-location Bosnian pyramid episode. Their design, impervious to future cataclysms, ensures the preservation of knowledge and resources for generations to come. The influence of the Naacals extended far beyond Egypt as their knowledge rippled across their satellite settlements, now burgeoning into formidable empires. This dissemination of wisdom explains the striking similar pyramid designs that emerged in diverse corners of the world. These remarkable structures served as energy conduits, repositories of knowledge, and beacons of unity. Recognizing that relying on a single pyramid to survive future cataclysms held uncertain odds, the Naacals ingeniously built these enduring edifices not only in Egypt and Mesoamerica, but also in present-day Greece, the Azores, India, Antarctica, and many other places where their legacies took root. It's a good thing they did, as the earth is chock full of cataclysmic events. Now I'll introduce, then quote a passage from Chan Thomas's book that was classified by the CIA. The book presents evidence of a coming pole shift that leads to a cataclysm. This is a repeating cycle. Basically, a disaster wipes out almost all of human life, and we, humans, start over in the Stone Age. The world has been reset. This book was published in 1993 and only declassified by the CIA in 2013. Although only 50 pages from the original have been released, it's still definitely worth checking out. You can download the PDF in the video description. Without further ado, now is the time to put all those Naacal pyramids to the test. For now is the time of the end of the world again. Introducing the Younger Dryas period as introduced by Chan Thomas in his now partially declassified book, The Adam and Eve Story, The History of Cataclysms. Dun dun dun. While this shift was occurring, taking only 1/4 to half a day to complete itself, the Earth's oceans and atmosphere, through angular momentum, kept rotating in their normal direction during most of the shift, with the oceans violently inundating most of the lands at supersonic speeds. The atmosphere bringing unimaginable hurricanes at supersonic wind velocities. Whole continents were subjected to tremendous upheavals and massive earthquakes. Huge mountain ranges were created. The 60-mile thick molten layer below the 60-mile thick shell of the Earth broke through the shell in places all over the world and was thereafter called Earth Fire by the pitiful few that survived. Pitiful few? The whole Earth? Best estimates are less than 1% of all life on Earth. The oceans and the winds took 6 days after the start of the cataclysm to stop their holocaustic wars on the surface of the Earth. On the seventh day began to settle down to about 5,000 years of normal activity and complacency. The 2-mile, 3.2 kilometer thick ice cap of the Laurentian basins and the Indian Ocean, having shifted from their polar homes, started a new course of revolving equatorially, proceeded to melt at tremendous speeds in the torrid heat, carving great grooves in the mountains as the rushing, gushing, swirling water and ice overwhelmed everything, shrouding the torrid zone in a dark fog for many years during several generations. The oceans rose 200 to 300 feet, or 61 to 91 meters, all over the world with the sudden melting of the ice caps, as they do with every cataclysm. Now back to the Naacal story. In Egypt, the pyramids and the Sphinx were already ancient by the time of subsequent generations, shrouded in an air of timelessness, and their original builders became lost in the annals of history. The enigmatic absence of pyramid building hieroglyphs within Egypt's ancient records stand as a testament to the disconnect between the pyramid's creation and the era that followed, with the monumental structures already present in the landscape. Later civilizations had no first-hand knowledge and thus left no carved accounts on record. The profound legacy of the Naacals persisted as an enigma, fueling speculation and wonder for ages to come. Similarly, the Olmec-built pyramids, standing as silent sentinels in the lands of Mesoamerica, were discovered by the Maya generations later, bearing witness to a lineage of builders now faded into the mists of time. The Naacal legacy, etched into these enduring monuments, continued to shape the destiny of civilizations, even when the memory of the originators had receded into the realm of myth and legend. As the Naacals' influence spanned continents and cultures, a portion of their people had returned to the once grand continent of Mu, the landmass now but a shattered expanse transformed into a shattered archipelago, with pockets of life spread across several islands. Simultaneously, the story of Earth's inhabitants was taking another extraordinary turn, due to another race of extraterrestrial beings known as the Anunnaki, which had descended upon the planet. These celestial visitors, hailing from Nibiru, also known as Planet X, brought with them advanced genetic engineering techniques. They altered the genetic makeup of Earth's life forms to create a new race, humans, designed to serve as workers in their quest to mine for gold. These Anunnaki needed the precious metal to send back to their home planet through portals like the ones in present-day Peru, Sri Lanka, and Egypt. Stricken by nuclear war, their planet's atmosphere was in ruins, and spreading gold particles in their orbit was their method of protecting themselves. We're also losing our atmosphere, and in 2018, Earth scientists suggested hanging reflective particles above the Earth in orbit to cancel out some effects from our sun. Great minds think alike. Intriguingly, both the Naacals and the Anunnaki, each with celestial origins, coexisted on Earth but largely remained out of each other's way. There is, however, an opposite theory of how Atlantis had a war with Mu, due to infiltration by the Anunnaki or the Martians, but that's a story for another time. These enigmatic presences and interventions cast a shadow of mystery over humanity's past, weaving a tapestry of cosmic connections and ancient secrets. Now that the world has been calm for thousands of years, the time has come for the end of the world again. Introducing the Great Flood. In the annals of world mythology, one of the most enduring narratives is the story of the Great Flood, often referred to as Noah's Flood. From 4,359 years ago in 2348 BC, this cataclysmic event, as recounted in several ancient texts, tells a tale of colossal deluge that surged to cover vast expanses of the world's surface, reshaping the landscape and wiping out the remnants of an older world. According to these narratives, the cataclysm was intended as a purification of the earth. In the midst of this torrential onslaught, many towering beings, the Nephilim and giants, said to be offspring of celestial beings and humans, faced their ultimate demise, as did the vestiges of an era lost to the unforgiving waters. Remarkably, echoes of this flood narrative resonate across diverse cultures, transcending geographical boundaries. The tales and accounts of survival often parallel one another. More on this later. Not all were caught unaware. A Naacal that had returned to the now archipelago of Mu from Mare Runga, still very much in touch with the spiritual world, had a powerful vision during a dreamlike astral projection of his homeland engulfed by the rising seas. He was urgently directed to flee the impending catastrophe by going east to the highest peaks of the fragmented continent. Finally reaching the rocky land known as Rapa Nui, it became their sanctuary. Yet even this haven was not spared, leaving insufficient space for the survivors who sought refuge there. As the floodwaters receded and civilizations rebuilt, this event also ushered the erasure of ancient histories. Naacal bearers of ancient knowledge and wisdom were lost to the surge of change. Similarly, the Anunnaki, who were believed to have intervened in human affairs, were forced out of the earthly plane. They did return 6,000 years later to teach their genetic creations, i.e. humans, agriculture. This way, they would expand in population faster and be of more use to the Anunnaki upon their future return, when they'll enslave them once more and resume gold mining operations. I will have to share this side story in a future episode. Now back to the flood. The flood thus symbolizes a profound transition, the termination of an epoch of giants and ancient custodians, the expulsion of celestial beings, and the dawning of a new era, in which humanity is charged with preserving the lessons of the past while navigating a freshly reformed world, i.e., the world has been reset again. Whenever the topic of the Great Flood arises, it's common to think there are only a handful of examples scattered across distant cultures and civilizations. However, the truth is far more astonishing. To dispel any doubts and make clear that this phenomenon is indeed widespread, let me present to you with just a glimpse of its global reach. Number 1, Mesopotamian, modern-day Iraq, Epic of Gilgamesh. A Sumerian poem tells of a great flood sent by the gods to wipe out humanity. The hero, Utnapishtim, builds an ark to survive the floods and is granted immortality by the gods. 2, Noah's flood. According to the book of Genesis, God decided to return the universe to its pre-creation state. God sends a flood to cleanse the world of wickedness. Noah is chosen to build an ark to save himself, his family, and pairs of animals. 3, the Greek flood myth. Deucalion and Pyrrha are the only survivors of a flood sent by Zeus to punish humanity. They repopulate the earth by throwing stones which turn into people. 4, the Hindu flood, India. Lord Vishnu appears to Manu, warning him of a great flood. Manu builds a boat and saves himself and 7 great sages and pairs of animals to repopulate the earth. 6. The Aztec flood myth. The god Tezcatlipoca sent a great flood to destroy the 4th Sun world era. Coxcoxtli and his wife Xochiquetzal survived the flood by floating in a giant chest and later repopulating the earth. 7. Polynesian. The demigod Maui tries to win immortality for humanity by transforming into a bird and flying to the heavens. However, his brother cut the feathers, causing him to fall and flood the land. The Last Rambles by George Catlin. In it, he meticulously documented no less than 100 distinct Native American legends of the flood. Our focus is drawn across the vast expanse of countless flood myths. Our journey takes us through the passage of time, transcending the collapse of the ages, stone, bronze, and iron, each punctuated by pivotal shifts in human society. From the nomadic ways of the hunter-gatherers to the advent of agriculture and to the rise of urban civilizations. Along the way, we encounter the enigmatic sea people whose assaults marked another chapter in history, a tale reserved for a future episode. Beyond these defining moments, we arrive at a remarkable juncture that bridges the ancient whispers with the explorations of a more recent era. As the 1870s dawned, Lieutenant James Churchward of the British Army found himself stationed in India, where he met and befriended the Rishi of a temple, one of the last humans to possess mastery over the enigmatic Naacal language. Churchward was taught to read and decipher the Muian inscriptions on the ancient tablets. Churchward unveiled a forgotten world that had long eluded history's narrative gaze. Mu, or as some people call it, Pacifica, Hiva, or the Empire of the Sun, the predecessor to both Atlantis and Lemuria, long since sunken beneath the waves. Churchward is most known for his theories about Mu, a highly advanced civilization that existed in the Pacific before Atlantis, as well as his assertions about the existence of an ancient universal language and spirituality. Churchward's ideas, popularized in his series of books including The Lost Continent of Mu and The Children of Mu, have sparked fascination and continues to intrigue those interested in alternative history, ancient civilizations, and the mysteries of our past, exactly like this channel. If you'd like to see more similar content in the future, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also in the 1870s was Auguste Le Plongeon. His most distinctive contributions to the fields of archaeology and alternate history. Le Plongeon was a keen believer that there had once been a vast and advanced civilization that predated both Atlantis and the ancient Egyptian culture. He claimed that this civilization, known as Mu or Lemuria, was situated in the Pacific Ocean and had connections with various ancient cultures, including the Maya. Had he known of the Olmecs, only uncovered a century later in 1869, he would have known that the ruins and records were even older than the Maya. Deeply influenced by his research in Mesoamerica, he believed that the similarities between the ancient Mayan hieroglyphs and those of ancient Egypt supported his theory of a shared cultural ancestry linked to the continent of Mu. The enigma of the lost continent of Mu continues to cast its shadow upon the present day. While Churchward and Le Plongeon ignited a spark of intrigue, the echoes of their theories can still be heard in the whispered tales of the Pacific Island legends, where the footsteps of giants are etched into the collective memory of civilizations. The Egyptians have a profound connection to their own heritage, referring to it as a legacy culture. This culture encompasses two distinct epochs that precede the dynastic civilization. The first of these is called Zep Tepi, a mythical age during which gods roamed the earth possessing otherworldly abilities. Following Zep Tepi, there emerged the epoch of Shemu Hor, also known as the followers of Horus. These individuals possessed extraordinary powers, blurring the lines between magic and advanced technology. In the words of Arthur C. Clarke, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, beautifully encapsulating the mystique that shrouded these ancient times. The sheer magnitude of the places that once encompassed Mu fuels our curiosity, beckoning us to venture beyond the confines of the conventional world and embrace the wonder of the unknown. The lost continent of Mu comes to life in Hawaii, where the landscape holds remnants of a forgotten past. Ancient megaliths whisper of an ancient civilization that once thrived. The guardians of lore, like the colossal figure of Haupu on Kauai, stands as a testament to a time when giants were said to roam the land, their stories woven into the very fabric of these isles. The Menahun are captivating figures found in Hawaiian legends, short-statured beings with human-like traits. Paralleled in southern Taiwan, where the Bunun tribe share tales of similar short entities, enriching the tapestry of mystical beings across Mu. The Menahun ditch tells a story of precise craftsmanship, its basalt stones fitted without mortar, a testament to an engineering prowess shrouded in mystery. The sacred hei'os, including the majestic Pilani hei'o, resonate with deep cultural and spiritual significance. A portal that bridges the ocean and connects Hawaii to Alaska. There are several legends of giants, including Huapu, Hinayuka, and Nuni. While time limits a full exploration of the giants' legends today, for those that want to learn more, please write a note in the comment section saying so, or join our live YouTube broadcast where questions become conversations. There are rumors of a secret pyramid, a three-sided tetrahedron pyramid on the island of Kauai. UFOs streak the skies with countless eyewitness reports and video footage. Linguistic ties and cultural echoes interweave Hawaii's story with those of distant lands. Hawaii is just one small part of the mountains of Mu. Continuing around the periphery of Mu, Hiva, Pacifica, and or Lemuria, our journey takes us southeast to the Marquesas Islands, the ancestral homeland of those who first settled Hawaii. Among the Marquesan landscapes stand the enigmatic tiki statues, reminiscent of the Easter Island iconic figures, but with a distinct and captivating twist. These tiki forms, with their elongated skulls and colossal goggle eyes, evoke an alien presence, mirroring the celestial beings attributed to the Nacaals, with uncanny resemblances to statues found in Peru, Mexico, Japan, and even the petroglyphs of Australian Aboriginals. Hiva-o, nestled within the Marquesas, is home to tikis said to be growing in height as their mystical power deepens. These statue entities, believed by some to be more than representations of gods or mortals, are thought to come alive with an essence that intertwines the spiritual and earthly. Regrettably, many of these artifacts have been claimed by museums around the world, depriving the islands of their mana energy, similar to the energies felt at Uluru and Nan Madol. The names of 3 islands, Nuka Hiva, Fatu Hiva, and Hiva O, resonate with the echoes of their homeland Mu, also known as Hiva, immortalizing the connection to the lost continent. Megalithic echoes resound within these lands. The wall of the Great Pepe on the ceremonial plaza of Vahen Gekwa in Tai Vai, Nuka Hiva, the site of a UFO landing pad watched over by the tikis. Just as statues and ancient relics from other corners of the world have faced acts of vandalism and defacement, the Marquesas Islands have also witnessed the tragic loss of their cultural heritage. The tiki Manuiota, a revered figure, suffered the mutilation of its head, a desecration that mirrors the defaced statues found in Egypt, Syria, Thailand, and beyond. Another tiki, Tiki Te Tobe I Noho, endured the same fate, its head severed from its form. What secrets might these statues hold? Secrets modern humanity might not be meant to witness? Despite the loss, traces remain, like the 6 fingers on Tiki Te Tobe I Noho's hand. Intriguingly, these tiki figures are attributed to the first man, resonating the notion of the Nacaals, who possessed 6 fingers, exactly like the older basalt Easter Island Moai statues with 6 fingers. This shared feature echoes the giants of ancient lore, remnants of which endure in the mountains of Afghanistan, the cave systems of the Solomon Islands, the Mexican peaks, and even the recesses of the inner earth. Up next is the Tuvalu archipelago, home to the largest chain of atolls in the world. It was ceded to France and became the site of several nuclear weapon tests. Well, that's one way to cover up things they don't want you to find. But remember, history has shown that it won't be the last time the ominous shroud of nuclear tests conceals the truth. Our journey now takes us southeast to what is arguably one of the greatest enigmas in the world, Easter Island. This was not always an isolated, solitary island, but an integral part of the sprawling continent of Mu. Millennia of global upheavals and catastrophic resets culminated in the continent's fragmentation, leaving behind a scattered archipelago now known as Polynesia, Melanesia, and Micronesia that eventually evolved into the isolated mountaintop islands we know today. Setting aside the renowned Moai statues for the moment, let's delve into lesser-known facets of Easter Island's history. Within its enigmatic landscape, its ancient megalithic mortarless walls predate the iconic statues, evidence of a much more ancient civilization. In 1774, Captain Cook, during his famed British expedition, was astounded by the precision and artistry of the masonry. Of particular note was the Grand Wall at Hongaroa, although regrettably it exists no more, as its colossal stones were repurposed to construct a new harbor. The idea that certain historical information has been intentionally concealed.
Stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Or manipulated to control the mainline narrative is definitely a thing. Throughout history, there have been instances where political, cultural, and academic interests have influenced the presentation of facts to support specific narratives or agendas. Many of the oldest structures that once clung to the island's cliffs, as witnessed by early explorers like Jacob Rahofen, Carl Friedrich Behrens, William J. Thompson, and Captain Cook in the 17 and 1800s, have since succumbed to the encroachment of the sea, swallowed by landslides, repurposed for construction, and the passage of time. Most academics say the island was uninhabited until 1,000 years ago. This is ridiculous for many reasons, but let's start by looking at the hard proof. Look at this picture on the screen. You can see two different types of rock. On the right, they are basalt and tightly fit together, whereas the rest of the blocks are compressed volcanic ash, trachyte, and red scoria. But wait a minute, there are absolutely no basalt quarries on the island as it is now and was 1,000 years ago. So how were the basalt walls constructed? The answer lies with the famed French explorer Jacques Cousteau. He explored the outer edges of Easter Island underwater, and he found a basalt quarry. So did the inhabitants mine for basalt underwater? Of course not. As I've repeatedly previously stated, there have been several global resets. Currently, in our world, over 1 billion people reside within 10 meters or 32 feet of sea level. If sea levels were to increase by just 10 meters, 32 feet, 1 billion people would be submerged. Now consider the implications of 100-meter, 328 feet rise in sea levels. It's worth noting that this is only half of the 200-meter, 656 feet minimum sea level rise that would have engulfed Easter Island. Along with all the coastal and low-lying areas of the world during the last cataclysmic flood. That means 12,000 years ago, the basalt quarry would have been exposed. So that would make the basalt walls at least 12,000 years old and probably much older. Easter Island, the most easterly point of the continent of Mu, has witnessed multiple phases of civilizations, with earlier, more advanced cultures giving way to later, less technologically developed societies due to the ravages of catastrophic events, exactly like in Göbekli Tepe. The Egyptians worshipped the sun god Ra. So did the inhabitants of Easter Island from the days of old when it was connected to the mainland of Mu. God was called Ra-Mu. After the pole shift reset bears the same patterns associated with Z-pinches, even more proof of a 12,000 plus year timeline for Easter Island. According to oral traditions, the first inhabitants were known as the Long Ears, giants. This can be corroborated by the account provided by Carl Friedrich Behrens, a member of the Dutch expedition, led by Jacob Rarofin, which made the remarkable discovery of Easter Island in 1722. Behrens, a German soldier who served on one of the expedition's ships, penned a detailed narrative chronicling their entire voyage. This narrative was first published in 1737. Notably, he stated that some of the indigenous inhabitants were so tall that the seamen could walk upright between their legs. The Nacaals, an ancient and spiritually advanced civilization with cosmic origins or from beyond the ice wall, if you know anything about the firmament. But that's definitely a story for another time. I want to emphasize that I will be making an episode solely on Easter Island and its myriad of mysteries in a future episode. However, it's important to touch upon the Rongo-Rongo tablets briefly. The Rongo-Rongo tablets are a supposed undeciphered writing form from the Easter Islanders. The undeciphered Rongo-Rongo tablets have been found to be almost exact copies of the symbols found at Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley in Pakistan. A representation of Z-pinch auroras from antiquity. Pinches occur naturally in electrical discharges like lightning bolts, planetary auroras, current sheets, and solar flares. These phenomena stay visible in the atmosphere for long periods of time after magnetic or atmospheric upheavals like a pole shift. As proven by the United States when they detonated a 1.4 megaton thermonuclear device 400 kilometers or 248 miles above Johnston Island. Located 1,500 kilometers or 932 miles west of Hawaii in 1962. The persistence of radiation effects with a decay constant on the order of 100 days. Basically, 63.2% of the substance will decay within 100 days, leaving enduring imprints in the natural world. Not only the Rongo Rongo tablets and the Mohenjo-Daro symbols, but also petroglyphs dating back to the Neolithic age. Their conventional narrative proposes that megalithic architectural influences from Peru were recreated on Easter Island. But the basalt quarry would have been underwater and inaccessible to the Peruvians in 1200 AD. The Nacaals, a culture of immense antiquity, embarked on an age of exploration that extended their reach to distant corners of the known world, including Peru. They brought with them the knowledge and technology necessary for megalithic construction. Over millennia, they established themselves in these lands only to face eventual displacement. Akin to the tales of the tribes from New Zealand who were believed to have originated from Peru and before that, Mu. They bear physical resemblances such as blonde and red hair, mirroring the headdress of the Moai statues dedicated to the ancestors. These Naacals evolved into the Chatupa, Wari, and eventually Kincaid cultures in the pre-Columbian era. Returning to their ancestral fragments of a once great homeland, they found themselves reunited with the long ears, the giants, but also coexisting with the short-eared inhabitants of Easter Island. This fusion would lead to their downfall. Pitcairn Island, about 2,000 kilometers west of Easter Island. Here, a treasure trove of artifacts were uncovered from a bygone civilization. Among the discoveries were stone tikis guarding the sacred site of the quadrangular platform temple that was unfortunately dismantled. The helpless stone gods were rolled over the nearby cliff and carried their secrets to the bottom of Bounty Bay. Up next, we explore Raivave Island in French Polynesia, where the remnants of approximately 100 Mare platforms, sacred sites, have been uncovered. These platforms are meticulously oriented to the rising and setting points of significant stars. Additionally, the island boasts over 60 massive tiki statues. The larger of the two statues portrays an imposing woman weighing over 2 tons. Notably, her left hand bears 6 fingers. Just like the tiki on Hiva-o in the Marquesas and the basalt moai of Easter Island. The other stone figure weighs around 1 ton and is also carved from basaltic tufa. In 1933, both of these tiki were transported by boat from Raivave to Papati, the capital of French Polynesia. This endeavor encountered significant challenges as locals were hesitant to assist due to their fears of the power residing within the tiki. Unfortunately, a smaller stone tiki, often referred to as the child, fell into the sea during the loading process. On the evening of the arrival of the ship in Papati, small peculiar flames were witnessed on the sea, a phenomenon interpreted by locals as a sign of the tiki's anger from being removed from their homes. This event resembles the infamous Curse of the Pharaohs, which plagued archaeologists following the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. Several mysterious stories are intertwined with the history of Polynesian tiki, particularly the tiki of Ravivave, which is believed to be responsible for over half a dozen deaths. Still in French Polynesia, we find the Mare Manunu on Huahine Island. This once thriving royal settlement now stands abandoned, featuring a plethora of megalithic structures and formidable fortification walls. Furthermore, within French Polynesia is Mare Tapu Tapuati, nestled on the captivating island of Raiatea. These mares served as centers of wisdom and knowledge where priests and skilled navigators from across the vast expanse of the Pacific would congregate. Time constraints prevent me from delving into all the mare, but let me introduce you to one of the most remarkable ones. Arahurahu stands apart as it's the sole mare to have been meticulously restored and is preserved akin to a museum. Situated about 20 kilometers from the capital city of Papati on the island of Tahiti, or as the locals call it, Tahiti. Our journey now takes us to the Society Islands, where the islanders' oral history unveils a truly unique narrative with potential relevance to our contemporary world. According to their tradition, the feathered god Ta'aroa emerged from the cosmic egg, shaping his essence into the intricate dome of the sky, often referred to as the firmament. This celestial being descended to Earth at Opoa in Hawaii, now known as Raiatea, regarded as the holiest place in the Society Islands. A captivating aspect of this legend lies in the island's high chiefs, who can trace their lineage back through an astounding 40 generations, proudly asserting their direct descent from the divine beings. A pyramid was constructed at the most sacred site in the Society Islands. Regrettably, this once magnificent step pyramid has met its demise. What remains today is nothing more than a mound of rocks, a testament to legends of giants believed to rest beneath it. Oceania is teeming with legends of giants, all intricately woven into the rich tapestry of this area, as you can see on this map. This extraordinary phenomenon can be attributed to the enigmatic Nacaals, the indigenous inhabitants of Mu, who were themselves giants. Following the fracturing of their continent, they dispersed to far-flung settlements, with some eventually returning to discover the short ears inhabiting their ancestral lands. These giants chose to coexist with the non-giant short ears, but as their numbers dwindled into obscurity, they transformed into the stuff of myths and legends. It's important to note that they haven't entirely vanished. Rather, they've retreated from sight, much like the dragons of old. In the Cook Islands, a similar saga unfolds. Here, we unravel the tale of the last surviving giants, with the most notable being Moke, a colossal figure who reigned as the largest giant in the South Pacific. He made his home on the island of Mangaya, standing an astonishing 20 meters or 65 feet tall. Another famed giant, Tu, resided on the island of Rarotonga and measured an imposing 10 meters in height, equivalent to 33 feet. Rarotonga has an additional captivating secret in the form of a megalithic wonder, the enigmatic Ara Matua, an ancient road spanning 29 kilometers, approximately 18 miles in length, and 5 meters, 16 feet in width. Meticulously paved with basalt, it encircles the entire island, with offshoot roads leading to sacred ceremonial sites. leaving a historical legacy that continues to intrigue and mystify. Now off to Rapa Iti. This remote island, shrouded in mystery, lies hidden in the vastness of southern French Polynesia. Its enigmatic landscape reveals 13 prehistoric mountaintop fortifications and a solitary pyramid guarding ancient secrets. Don't confuse Rapa Iti with Rapa Nui, as they are separated by more than 3,000 kilometers or 2,000 miles of open ocean. Now off to Samoa, where a remarkable ancient monument stands as the largest of its kind, not only in Samoa, but throughout the entire South Pacific region. Built by a tribe of giants, the Hiti, that lived on Samoa before the Great Flood. This colossal structure takes the form of a pyramid, earning it the nickname Star Mound due to its distinctive shape. Crowning its summit are a series of cairns, further shrouding this enigma in mystery. Crafted from basalt, the pyramid's flat apex evokes memories of Mesoamerican pyramids. Situated on an abandoned plantation a mere 3 kilometers or 2 miles from the tranquil village of Veiloa. The Pulamule Pyramid, also known as the Tia Su Ancient Mound, remains hidden in a dense, pathless jungle. I would love to go there. The pyramid stretches 65 meters, 213 feet by 12 meters, 40 feet tall, impeccably aligned with the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west. Yet much like the elusive dates surrounding Easter Island's Moai, here too we question the credibility of big archaeology's dating methods. Venturing to another of Samoa's islands, Sealy, LiDAR imaging has unveiled a sprawling platform measuring 100 by 200 meters or 328 by 656 feet. Plus, an additional 80 star mounds have been revealed in Samoa and American Samoa with LiDAR technology. The star mounds serve as fascinating celestial markers depicting different constellations. Their geometric configurations meticulously aligned with the stars. As you journey across the islands, you'll discover a multitude of star mounds, each with its unique geometry and shape. Some interpretations liken these formations to the likeness of a turtle, just like several other nearby islands like Nan Madal and Unigami. While it's true that some propose that these mounds were employed for pigeon catching rituals, one can't but help question if this was their original purpose. Erecting several megalithic structures solely for catching pigeons seems improbable. I'd say this practice emerged later after the loss of knowledge and technology, just like at Göbekli Tepe and Easter Island. It's unlikely that the stone building techniques were lost to history, but that those with the knowledge simply left. The mysteries of Samoa extend even further, intertwining with those of Fiji. Here, ancient giants once roamed the land, leaving behind footprints akin to the dinosaur tracks found in Texas, or of Buddha, Hanuman, and Adam and Eve's Adam on Adam's Peak in Sri Lanka. I covered this in the Ramakian and Sri Lanka episode. The opportunity to witness the legend of Moso the giant in the village of Palelopo and to explore similar imprints on Vanua Levu in Fiji offers a profound connection to an era when these lands were a continuous expanse. Alternatively, some contemporary theories propose that these footprints are evidence of incredible leaps between islands, following the cataclysmic event that reshaped the Mu landscape, birthing the archipelago we know today. Although not a vast expanse, Fiji boasts a surprising abundance of citadels and ancient hill forts, a fact understood by colonial official Basil Thomson in 1908. His observations revealed that nearly every significant hilltop in western Viti Levu, Fiji's largest island, was adorned with some form of entrenched structure. These fortifications consist of meticulously constructed concentric stone walls. Big archaeology speculates that these huge stones were rolled uphill from the base of the mountains, which seems implausible to me. There must have been more enigmatic means of moving these stones, akin to the mysteries surrounding the building of Nan Madal and the Moai of Easter Island, as they were all the same civilization. The story of the Fiji giant, Vei, awaits its turn in a future episode. Venturing to the island of Rotuma during World War II, coast watchers erected a house atop a hill, revealing an astonishing discovery. Unearthing shin bones measuring over 3 feet 1 meter in length and belonging to a man 12 feet tall or 4.5 meters in height. From Fiji, our journey continues to the small but significant Tonga, a land that giants once traversed in search of sustenance. As one legend tells it, two giants residing in Tonga embarked on a fateful quest to Rotuma in Fiji, driven by hunger. Tragedy struck when one starving giant slew the other, only to meet his own demise at the hands of the local inhabitants. Two of these colossal bones were preserved as a testament to this otherworldly encounter. Spanning an impressive 700,000 square kilometers across the South Pacific are the islands of Tonga. Amidst this vast expanse, on one of the 176 islands, stands a megalithic marvel unlike any other in the Pacific. A trilithon named Ha'amanga Amaui, also known as Stonehenge of the Pacific. Legend has it that Maui himself, a Polynesian demigod or giant, transported the massive lintel from Willis Island in French Polynesia upon his back. This imposing structure is meticulously aligned with the summer solstice, a testament to the intricate knowledge of the ancients. Nearby, the Maka Whakinanga monolith, known as the Leaning Rock, adds to the enigmatic landscape. Further still, the Lapaha Langi, or Mua, as they are now often referred to, reveals pyramidal bases on each platform, evoking a sense of mystique. Pepeoteli, an exquisite example of a royal burial mound or giant's gravesite, blends seamlessly with modern graves, bridging the ancient and contemporary. However, this coexistence with modern burial sites poses a significant challenge to archaeological explorations, as the presence of these modern graves hinders any excavations aimed at uncovering evidence of the giants who once roamed these lands. The ancient capital of Tonga, known as Mua, offers a tantalizing hint of a connection to the ancient continent of Mu, one of its 7 capital cities. Throughout the ages, Tonga's royals have been renowned for their towering stature, a legacy of their giant lineage, exactly the same as in Naacals. The royalty consistently stood approximately 20 centimeters or 8 inches taller than the average Tongan. This remarkable height difference has long fueled the belief in their ancestral ties to the ancient gods and giants. In the remote outer atoll of Nanumea, nestled within the small Polynesian nation of Tuvalu, an astonishing discovery awaits. On this serene islet, the islanders unveiled an enormous grave measuring 11.5 feet or 3.5 meters in length by 5 feet or 1.5 meters in width. The collective consensus among the locals was that this had to be the final resting place of Tuvalu, a figure enshrined in ancient legend. The tale handed down through generations recounted Tuvalu as a fearsome giant who once inhabited the islet. The islanders initially contemplated enlisting the aid of archaeologists to unveil the secrets hidden within this colossal grave, but a sudden change of heart took hold. The notion of disturbing Tuvalu's final repose was deemed too perilous. As fate would have it, a violent storm descended upon the atoll that very evening, serving as an ominous warning, convincing them to never again consider disturbing the grave of Tuvalu. Another extraordinary relic once existed, the colossal footprint of a giant that had graced the coast. Boasting 6 toes, this remarkable imprint stretched an astounding 5 feet or 1.5 meters long. However, history reveals an intriguing twist to this tale. An early missionary, motivated by his desire to alter the islanders' beliefs and supplement them with new convictions, undertook an audacious act. In a symbolic gesture, the missionary planted a coconut palm within the boundaries of the sacred footprint, effectively concealing the once visible relic. Now off to the islands of Kiribati, a stunning cluster in the vast expanse of the Pacific. In 1937, Amelia Earhart, while on her around the world flight, she mysteriously vanished. Despite an enormous search, she was never found. 3 years later, a research scientist found human remains on a tiny uninhabited island called Nikumaroro Island. In 1940, after examining the bone fragments, it was said that it was 100% not Amelia Earhart's. Then, in 2017, the bone fragments were re-examined, and they said it was 100% Amelia Earhart's. Oh my God. So they returned to Nikumaroro Island in Kiribati to further investigate. That's when they found a bottle of freckle cream, something Amelia was renowned for using. It is assumed that in her plane crash, she was injured, of course, and had open wounds. Then she fell asleep on the beach. During the night, the local inhabitants of the island, the coconut crabs, which are huge, powerful crabs that use their claws to open coconuts, they found her, swarmed her, and ate her. Not a very fitting end for a world hero. Among the treasures that Kiribati holds, Starbuck Island harbors the enigma of a crashed UFO, an otherworldly phenomenon that continues to astound and mystify. This celestial visitor, shrouded in intrigue, crash landed on the island, leaving a visible mark on the landscape, very similar to the Baltic Sea anomaly that I featured in a previous episode. Yet even more mysterious are the ruins of an ancient island adorned with megalithic roads that elegantly disappear into the depths of the sea. Within Kiribati's 21 archaeological sites, remnants of temple platforms made of tightly fitted basalt slabs crisscross the islands, some extending beneath the ocean's surface. Pyramid platforms and 40 stone temples dot the landscape of Malden Island, a mere 40 square kilometers or 15 square miles. An abundance that might seem excessive given the land size, just like Easter Island using up all its resources. However, when considering the context of its history as part of a much larger continent, the rationale becomes clear. These stone temples share striking similarities to structures found thousands of kilometers or miles away in non-Nacal Micronesia. Throughout the Gilbert Islands of Kiribati, stone monoliths reaching heights of 8 feet or 2.4 meters act as guardians of spiritual powers. These ancient guardians, known as the gods of the fair-skinned race, their enigmatic presence inviting us to delve into the secrets of Kiribati's past. Regrettably, Malden Island, the one with the megalithic roads that disappear into the sea and has 40 temples on 40 square kilometers of land, became the site of British hydrogen bomb tests in 1957, with Operation Grapple, shrouding the truth of its enigmatic past. Today, it is a protected area, a breeding ground for birds, exactly like Henderson Island, a deliberate measure to dissuade inquisitive minds from uncovering its secrets. Our journey now brings us to the Marshall Islands, where a captivating legend unfolds on the small atoll of Lea. This tale speaks of a colossal timber cylinder adrift at sea that made landfall at Lea with giants inside of it. The giants were weak from drifting across the ocean. Not wanting to have giant problems, the villagers killed the weakened giants. It was only later on that they discovered that one of the giants was a princess, and regret continues to weigh heavy in the hearts of the islanders to this day. Islanders maintain the tradition of casting a piece of food into the waters as a gesture of forgiveness whenever they go fishing near the islet where the princess is buried. The Marshall Islands is also the site of the sunken treasure ship with booty collected from non-Nacal by Jan Kubery in 1874. Non-Nacal kills to keep its secrets. Just ask Victor Berg. A shadow of sorrow has darkened the region's future. Commencing in 1946, the United States conducted a staggering 67 nuclear tests in the Marshall Islands near Bikini Atoll and Enewetak. When the tests concluded, the US military took more than 80,000 cubic meters of contaminated soil and debris from the islands, blending it with Portland cement. Interring the perilous mixture in an atomic blast crater on the northern tip of Runit Island, which is made of coral, allowing radiation to leak out with every wave. In a disheartening revelation, a series of studies have unveiled a grim truth. Radiation levels where nuclear weapons were detonated over 6 decades ago exceed those witnessed in present-day Chernobyl and Fukushima. Next destination brings us to the Federated States of Micronesia, a place steeped in legend and mystery. Here, stories of giants who harness the power of magic to levitate colossal basalt columns for the construction of their grand capital city, Naacal, abound. On the island of Pohnpei, within the ruins of Naacal, the remains of giants have been discovered, instilling a sense of trepidation among the locals that endures to this day. I have completely covered this captivating tale in a previous episode. Naacal is truly astonishing. If you haven't already, please check it out. Now off to the Mariana Islands, including Guam, a U.S. territory. Notably, these islands house the exclusive latte megalithic stones found nowhere else globally. Similar to the Maya repurposing Olmec Nacal pyramids, Guam boasts 2,000 latte stones believed to originate from Rota Island. The mystery lies in how these colossal stones were cut and transported, just like hundreds of other ancient sites around the world. Upon European arrival, only a few houses adorned the hundreds of sites, highlighting the locals' lost knowledge in creating and moving these megalithic wonders. Tautau Mona, the mystical spirits of ancient giants, are venerated as protectors of the Mariana Islands mountains and untamed landscapes. Spanning Lutah, Saipan, Tinian, and Guam, the unwavering belief in Tautau Mona saturates these islands with varied perspectives. Some view them as malevolent forces. Others identify them as nature's spirits, drawing comparisons from the Naga in the Indian epics and Thai folklore. According to the Book of Jubilees, an ancient text within Jewish traditions, it addresses the divine penance imposed on the giants. Upon the giants' demise, unable to find solace in paradise or hell, they transform into restless spirits haunting ancient realms. The Tautau Mona mystical spirits are destined to wander their ancient stomping grounds eternally. Just north of the Mariana Islands, our journey brings us to Iwo Jima, the site of perhaps the most iconic Pacific World War II moment. Here on the slopes of Mount Suribachi, the raising of the American flag resonates throughout history. Captured not only in photograph but also in video. An added layer of intrigue awaits, as within the footage, an unidentified flying object graces the scene. Please leave your comments about this enigmatic encounter in the comment section below. Now we're headed to the biggest monolithic structure of the continent of Mu, to the submerged ruins off the southern tip of Japan's Ryukyu Islands, the Unigami Monument. Spanning 100 meters in length, 328 feet by 60 meters in width, 200 feet. Standing 25 meters tall and resting 25 meters beneath the ocean surface at 82 feet. Resembling a ziggurat reminiscent of the one in Iraq, it boasts a pyramid, roads, staircases, and has earned the moniker Japanese Atlantis, echoing its connection to the ancient continent of Mu. The structure has parallel walls, 90-degree angles, geometric formations, and even has a statue of a turtle atop, reminiscent to the deities of Nan-Madal and other regions of Pacifica, Hiva, or Mu, dating back to 10,000 BC during a lower sea level epoch, connected to Taiwan via a land bridge. Check out the ocean ridges on the seafloor. They aren't that far down. Embarking on the final leg of our journey to modern-day Mu or Mu Dalu, we reach Taiwan. According to some, it is the most westernly anchor of the lost continent of Mu. Taiwan boasts megalithic wonders, among them a pyramid reminiscent of those found elsewhere in Mu, such as the Samoa and Rapa Iti pyramids. Taiwan's seven-star mountain stands as a majestic sentinel adorned with 7 megalithic structures, among them the pyramid. I'll have a dedicated episode on Taiwan's only secret pyramid in the near future. But let's go take a quick look now. Hey guys, we're on the top of Taiwan's only secret pyramid. There are 7 ancient structures from 5000 BCE, of which we've discovered 5, including the pyramid. And there are also secret tunnels in the vicinity that we haven't managed to find yet, but that's my mission every year, to come here with a bunch of people and find it. Throughout the ages, civilizations across the world have left an indelible mark on history, crafting supermassive structures that defy conventional understanding, seemingly scattered across unconnected lands, ensuring an enduring legacy, prompting us to find explanations and answers like the one encapsulated in the title of this video: Mu, the predecessor of Atlantis from several global resets ago. Mu, an advanced global civilization, ingeniously utilized pyramids as power plants and energy transmitters, harnessing the earth grid, ley lines, atmosphere, and cosmic energies. These structures, built to endure cataclysms, served as repositories of knowledge and technology for future generations. Regrettably, those in power withhold this knowledge, evident in censored, altered, and doctored NASA images. Classified books like the Adam and Eve story, A History of Cataclysms by Chan Thomas, covering up the truth about giants, UFOs, portals, and more. I hope you enjoyed watching the one-stop shop for everything Mu episode as much as I enjoyed creating it. As always, I present a narrative, not an absolute truth. The choice to believe is yours. Uncovering the truth, one conspiracy at a time. See you next week on the White Rabbit YouTube channel.